Hi, my name is Alexis Lee, and I'm going to be refuting Julia Kurtz's claim of fact speech, and her main claim was ear cropping on dogs is an unnecessary procedure. I believe her secondary claims were ear cropping procedures harm dogs, ear cropping has zero medical benefit, and ear cropping is opposed by major animal organizations. I believe that ear cropping on dogs, when done by a professional and done at the right age, is not harmless at all. Because of this, dogs will be less likely to suffer from infections in the ear canal. This traditional procedure is beneficial because it prevents future injury to show dogs so that they won't get their ears or tails caught in anything, which will be a much more painful experience than a medical procedure done by a professional. Cropped ears are cleaner and easier to maintain, though it's not as painful for the dogs because during the procedure they're asleep and not awake. If ear cropping was made illegal, it would provoke unofficial vets to practice this with the use of tools, wrong tools, not using anesthesia correctly, and antiseptics can cause major infections and can lead to deaths. Ear cropping on animals is to keep up the, oh my gosh. Ear cropping for animals is just like keeping up their appearance, just like humans do. Humans go to the gym, they get tattoos and piercings. Piercings can lead to infections, just like ear cropping, but people still do them. They can get tattoos, which can lead to skin cancer, which can lead to ink poisoning or stuff like that, but it's still, there's risks with everything. And going to the gym, people don't wear jewelry, they don't wear long necklaces because it can get caught. Just like dogs get their ears cropped and their tails cut, so they won't get hurt and get caught. I believe that ear cropping on dogs is not necessary, but when done correctly, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, you ID the main and secondary claims clearly. You basically develop a counterclaim on the argument, and your structure needs to be a little bit clearer. Since it doesn't really respond to the advocate's points directly, you need to explain some of the applications that you're giving. The analogy that you have about being able to have clear and less clogs in the ears, that sort of thing, that's a good claim to make. It would be nice to have some evidence to back it up, and I didn't hear a citation of any evidence on that point. The discussion about the potential problems that would occur if we were to have a ban on ear cropping, well, that's a workability disadvantage argument that would apply on a policy argument. It doesn't really address the issue of whether or not there is a benefit or if it's safe or any of these problems are going on now. It addresses what the policy would produce, not what the advocate is talking about on this issue. So I think that's a little bit off topic. The comparison to human activities, I think, is a reasonable one for the value elements of the argument, and I think that the advocate really did have some value arguments here suggesting since it is merely cosmetic, it's not appropriate, but we do lots of things that are cosmetic in nature for all sorts of things. You mentioned the human things, for instance, animals, the same kind of thing. I feel sorry for all those poodles out there who get cropped so they look so silly. They got the powder puff stuff, and but I'm not sure that their humiliation is any more damaging to them than the alleged, inability of the dog to communicate with its ears. Both of them seem to be equally based on a value position and not really something that has been quantified in any way. And I think that that's the argument that you ought to be making there. I didn't really hear any evidence in your argument, so it's not really, I've got a lot of counterclaims, a lot of assertions, but that's about it. All right. Thank you.